day baseball out here in San Diego. That gives some of the players like Zach Eflin and Aaron Nola a chance to sign some autographs. A lot of the stuff the players do today, they do on their own, whether it be throwing, whether it be stretching. And now the Phillies fans soak it in the sun, hoping for a victory today in the finale of this three-game series. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Ben Davis. This will be the 8th time this year the Phillies are looking for a victory in the finale of a series in which they lost the first 2 games. That's not great, but they still need to get a win today. They need to slow down a couple of players, including Corey Spangenberg for the Padres.
He's been super hot and wasn't really that hot up until about a week ago, but he definitely has had the Phillies number in the last couple games here in San Diego, and he's done it with the long ball. Here off Ricardo Pinto, opposite field Jack. He's just getting pitches that are elevated right now. And what do good hitters do, Tom? They don't miss them. Here's off Mark Leiter last night. A bullet to right field, which scored 2 runs. And then he comes up later in the ball game and goes up top off a palm tree in dead center field.
And you talk about pitches being up. That pitch was up. And he also is going after these pitchers early in the count. So he's getting pitches that he can handle. This is what the Phillies did the first time against him. They handled him. He was 1 for 12 with 4 strikeouts. He was an out the entire series. Well, this series, 5 for 7, 5 RBIs. He's also scored a boatload of runs for the San Diego Padres. All right, so they have to take care of him, but they also have to take care of the Padres starting pitcher. Now, last night they couldn't do anything against Lamet. Today, they get Clayton Richard. They've had success against Richard, although he pitched well against them last time in Philadelphia. This is what he's done since that meeting in Philadelphia. Not so good.
Well, he's what you call, quote-unquote, crafty lefty. He's not going to overpower you with his fastball. He'll sit right about 90 miles an hour. But one thing that he can do is he can command the inside part of the plate to the righties, and he can do that. He can open up with that changeup down and away. But really his out pitch, after he rushes you inside with that fastball, he can go with his curveball and bounce it on the plate. He gets a lot of swings and misses, especially from the righties on that pitch.
All right, so this was an effective outing against the Phillies the last time that he faced them in Philadelphia. The Phils were unable to do a whole lot against him. He's had 5 of these kind of outings this year where he's allowed 1 run or fewer, but he's had a lot more of the outings where he's allowed 3 earned runs or more. The Phillies hope that today is one of those days. They can get some offense going against the Padres. It's the final game of this 3-game series. Nick Pivetta, he's been roughed up since the All-Star break. He'll make his 18th start against Richard. CSN Studios when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com. as we get set for the Phillies and the Padres wrapping up this 3-game series. They call it Way Back Wednesdays, sponsored by Budweiser here in San Diego. That's when the Padres wear their way back uniforms. In fact, today they're wearing the uniform from the 1991 to 2001 season. Ben, what number were you? 25 with those uniforms?
When I first came up, and then obviously switched to 13.
Here's the Phillies lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, it's Cesar and Freddie. That's the normal 1-2. But then Hoskins moves up to the number 3 spot, and Tommy Joseph bats cleanup. They're used to facing Clayton Richard. They faced him earlier this year. In fact, he's 5-12 this season overall, with an ERA of 5.14. For his career, he is winless against the Phils, 0-4 with a 3.91 ERA. Time now for our Liberty Mutual player profile, our Liberty Mutual Insurance player profile. And let's run down a little bit about Clayton Richard and what he brings to the table.
He's a very crafty lefty. Not too good at numbers against these Phillies. 0-4 with a career 3.41 ERA. The Phillies need to be very conscious of that pitch inside today. Lay off the pitch down in the dirt. That's what he loves to go to, but he will hide the ball very, very well. That is your Liberty Mutual Insurance player profile.
Cesar Hernandez leads it off, and we're underway. The first pitch is on the inside corner. It's no balls and 1 strike. Cesar is 3 for 8 this series so far, with a walk and a run scored. He's hit in 5 consecutive games. He has been red hot since coming off the disabled list. Swing and a miss, 0-2. 296 average. His average keeps on creeping up with each passing game, hitting well over 300 since coming off the DL. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Back on the 7th of July, Clayton Richard went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits and 1 earned run. He walked 1 and struck out 2 against the Phils. He received a no decision in a 4-3 Padres victory. That's going to be, well, no, he makes a nice play. If it had gotten past him, it would have been a tough play, but instead it's a 1-3 on the putout. And 1 away here in the first. Time now for our Nissan keys to today's ball game.
I love the offense. I've seen them take a whole lot of fastballs and fastball counts recently, so be more aggressive on those fastballs. And Nick Pivetta, when you throw that breaking ball, especially put away pitch, bury it. He's leaving too many breaking balls up in the zone, and they've been getting tattooed.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. It'll be interesting to see if he does discard one of his breaking balls for today's game. That is a thought that Pete Mackanin and Bob McClure have. They were undecided on when they would implement that. Freddie Galvis stands in. Galvis hitting 256. And a first pitch fastball is in there. It's 0-1. Freddie 2 hits in his 9 at bats during this series. And it's 0-2. Phillies as a team against the Padres this year, hitting 234 against them. They have hit 12 home runs, though, in the 5 games they faced against them. Little grounder foul past Juan Samuel. Good luck at McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Ellen Leslie of Reading. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Ellen will win $100. McDonald's, enjoy an ice cold delicious soft drink for only $1. I'm loving it.
Good luck, Ellen.
The Phillies gave out $300 in last night's game thanks to Rhys Hoskins and Jorge Alfaro. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Actually 100 last night, 300 the night before, thanks to Rhys Hoskins. And a foul tip and a strikeout for Richard. 2 outs here in the first. And that'll bring Hoskins to the plate.
It's a fastball away here. That's one thing Richard can do. He can get you looking for that pitch inside and still have enough giddy up to get it by you away.
Hoskins with 3 home runs and 5 runs batted in so far in his big league career. All 3 homers have happened in this series. In fact, he's 3 for 8 in this series for the Phillies. And a pitch off the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
75% of his hits are homers. If you think about it.
Well, if he keeps that up, he'll have himself a heck of a month and a half here in the big leagues. Not a surprise that he is hitting some long balls. In fact, he finished with 29 in AAA, and his home run total since the beginning of last year is the top home run total in all of minor league baseball. Fly ball right center field, and Margot into the alleyway is under it and makes the catch. Phillies go down in order in their half of the first inning, so pretty quiet top of the first. We'll go on to the bottom of the first. Nick Pivetta is ready to go when we return. There's Andy Green, the manager of the Padres. His team has performed quite well against the Phils this year. They're 4-1. Let's take a look at their lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, Margot leads it off at center field as Wahe bats second. Solarte moves from shortstop over to third base. They've moved Spangenberg up to the cleanup spot. Why not? He's been red hot for them, looking to capitalize on his power. Will Myers once again bats fifth, and then Hedges is back in, Renfroe as well, and Dusty Coleman makes his first start of this series, and they'll face the right-hander Nick Pivetta, the 24-year-old from Victoria, British Columbia, 4-7 with an earned run average of 6.29. A lot of home runs so far this year for Nick. 19 home runs allowed in his 88 2/3.
The last 2 starts have not gone well for Nick. 0-1 with a 15.95 ERA. So we know about the big fastball, change, curve, and slider, but you might see him eliminate 1 or 2 pitches today.
He's allowed 3 home runs in his last 2 starts. And in his 6 starts since the All-Star break, his earned run average is 9.40. And the first pitch is taken for ball 1. It's 1-0 to Manuel Margot, who is 1 for 8 with an RBI and a run scored. One ball, 1 strike. You have this jersey hanging in your home?
I don't have any jerseys hanging in my home,
Why
but
not?
I do have it packed away in the duffel bag.
Probably pretty wrinkled right now.
It's folded neatly.
At the knees, 1-2. Margot 0 for 3 when Pivetta faced the Padres earlier this year. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, according to the home plate umpire Nick Lentz. This is usually the pattern for Pivetta, is the first inning on a lot of fastballs, which isn't a bad idea since he has such a good one. I mean, every pitch is down in the zone except for that last one.
Definitely has a big arm, and it's free and easy.
And on the outside corner, that was the slider. And there's 1 away here in the first inning. Take a look at pitch gas presented by Mazda.
Good pitch. Nick Lentz thought it was good enough. Pitchcast says it might be off the plate, but again, a pitch that needs to be called.
Lentz behind the plate. Jim Wolf's over at first. As Wahe takes inside, it's 1-0. He was also 0 for 3 in the previous game against Nick Pivetta. Fouled away. Padres as a team, and you wouldn't know it by their games against the Phillies, but they are last in the league in hitting at .235. I mean, they haven't lit up the scoreboard against the Phils, but they've done enough. Quite honestly, as Pete mentioned to us this morning, the first 2 games the Phillies have made enough mistakes that the door has been left open for the Padres to win the first 2. Breaking ball, and it's fouled, and it remains 1-2.
Pete Mackanin, funny his comments he made about Nick and maybe using, he said he doesn't have to use all the clubs in his bag. That's an interesting way to put it.
There you go. No. So Sam Holbrook. The rankings for the Padres. This is the National League, where they're 15th in runs per game, 15th in batting average. But you can also run those through all of Major League Baseball. They're 30th in runs per game, as we mentioned, 30th in average. Home run total, though, not that bad. They're 7th in the National League and 15th overall. Swing at a foul ball, and it remains 2-2.
Foul tip. You can't practice it, Tom.
On the outside corner, strike 3 called. So he has struck out the first 2 batters with a 2-out or 2-strike breaking ball.
Seems to be liking this slider today.
Yeah. So much for that being the pitch that they throw out.
Just backs up just a hair, but again, good enough for Nick Lentz to call.
It's an 8-pitch at bat, but they're 2 away. And here's Solarte, who has 3 hits in this series. Fouls it away, and it's 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Go. Yes, he did. 1-2. These are all sliders, aren't they?
They are.
Let's see if he can put them away. When Pivetta gets to 2 strikes, he's very difficult for the hitters to handle. He didn't like that baseball.
See it again here.
Swing and a miss. He went right over top of it. He just struck out the side. 2 strikeouts looking and 1 swinging for Nick Pivetta. Now that is a good start to a Wednesday afternoon baseball game.
Very selfish. Let the others play, Nick. That's a good sign, though. Using that slider very effectively, getting ahead with that fastball. We're on to the top of the 2nd.
Joseph leads things off. Phillies went down in order in their half of the first. The same with the Padres. And the first pitch here, the second, is in there against Joseph, and it's 0-1. Tommy is 1 for 9 so far in this series. These numbers against lefties recently. That one skipped about 3 feet in front of the plate.
You can see the little dot right in front of home plate. That was a short one. Watch how far out in front of home plate this is. It's incredible.
That's a hot shot back toward the middle, backhanded by Aswahe, and he throws out Tommy Joseph. One away here in the second. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live for the rest of the season in your office or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription for the remaining month and a half in the postseason includes At-Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Now, we've been celebrating 15 years of MLB.tv this entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv for more information. Nick Williams batting. Williams ahead 1 ball, no strikes, 2 for 7 in this series. 1-1. Asked Nick today how it felt to be out in center field. He said it felt pretty good last night. Felt very comfortable out there. Two and 1. Odubel Herrera is available for today's game. Pete said he'd rather not use him. The hope is that they will have him back for tomorrow's series against the Giants. Bouncer off the plate. Now this is going to be a tough play. Coleman has it, and Nick Williams is able to beat it easily.
What do they have on this plate?
I don't know.
I mean, the ball that Kim hit the other night went even higher than that one, but this is, it's incredible.
Look at the 3 dots in front of home plate. There's the first one. And the umpire's kind of look at the 3 dots in front of home plate.
Well, one of those was from Richard.
Correct.
And that pitch to Tommy Joseph, but it's like concrete in front of home plate. And to have wheels like that. How many more hits a year you can get just by having some good wheels?
Must be pretty dry down there. Miguel Franco, 1 for 7 in the series, and he takes on the inside corner. It's 0-1. That is a term, the Baltimore chop, that has lasted for well over 100 years in baseball.
Did you start it?
I did not. That's not nice.
It wasn't nice.
This is usually where we mention wheels when you do stuff like that. Williams dives back without the tag. I mean, they were working on this today. They were working on the field. It had to be, I mean, for the 2 hours we were here, they were working on the field. I mean, they're wetting it down. It looks like even to soften it. But once the sun dries it up, it probably hardens it up a little bit. Ground ball toward the hole, backhanded by Coleman. They go to second in time to get Nick Williams. 6-4 on the putout. Juan Samuel just looked into the dugout. Pete Mackanin wants them to hold it a little bit. It'll be a fielder's choice. 2 away.
Nick was going to have a chance to beat this out.
I did too.
So I get into a secondary lead, especially with Coleman. I think he does stay on the bag. With Coleman double clutching and the way Nick can run, it's always imperative to get a good secondary lead.
Well, we've talked about that in this series, just how short his leads have been, particularly with a left-hander out on the mound. Cameron Perkins takes outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
I'd like to see another Philly get his first big league home run.
Cam hit 6 home runs down at Lehigh Valley. His average at 190 in the big leagues. Today's ball game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Over to toward third, a big hop for Solarte. 5-4 on the putout. And that'll wrap up the second inning. No runs, one infield hit. One man left, middle of the second. A scoreless game. Home run replay brought to you by your Delaware Valley BMW Centers. And it's Spangenberg, who got a hanger last night and was beating up the palm trees out in center field.
The first night here to left field off Pinto. Last night off Mark Leiter Jr. That is your home run replay sent by BMW.
So Spangenberg will lead it off 5 for 7 in the series with 5 runs scored. Here's what Andy Green had to say about Spangenberg in our Geico quote of the day. He does a lot. If I'm a fan showing up at the ballpark, he's as fun a guy as there is to watch because he plays hard all the time. He plays with an edge. He can drive the ball out of the ballpark. He can steal a base. Well, and he's also shown some versatility because he's playing the outfield in today's game. First pitch to him here is in there for a strike. Another slider, and it's 0-1.
Curveball there. 77.
I guess they're both in play. He throws both the same amount. Curveball 13% of the time. The same with the slider. Slider might be a hair more in percentage. There's a slider, and it's swung on and missed. 4 consecutive strikeouts for Pivetta to start the ball game. He's got that baby dancing today.
What's good about that one, though, is the fact that he was able to do it on 3 pitches. You have to respect the 97 that Nick Pivetta has, and that's why it was one of my keys to the game. Nick Pivetta, bury your breaking balls, and he's done a good job of that thus far. If I'm going to miss with my hook, especially when I have a hitter in the hole, I'm going to miss with it down.
Well, Myers takes low, and it's 1-0. Myers 0 for 6 in the series with a couple of walks. Boy, 4 straight pitches out of the strike zone.
Are they out of the strike zone? And that's a pitch you want. That's where you want your pitchers living, at the bottom. Wow. First 3, I mean.
Well, the 1 and the 3 should be strikes. Now, if you want to cut hairs, then 4 should be a ball based on that box. But again, you want to get hitters to swing. Call those pitches a strike. Austin Hedges, the batter, as the throw goes over to first. Myers is back. Myers has stolen 11 bags this year. He's been caught 5 times. Hedges with 15 home runs, 46 runs batted in. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Popped him up outside of first, and it'll be back into the seats. Tommy Joseph gives it a look. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Austin Hedges. Hedges is 5 for 13 against the Phillies this year, hitting .385. Solarte 3 for 8. Spangenberg and Asuaje have the most at bats, and they're both hitting over 300 coming into today's game. They are persistent with throwing over to first base. It is 4 times now, and Myers is back easily.
Well, that's coming from Pete.
And now a balk is called, so that'll send Myers out to second base.
Saying he didn't stop?
It has to be it.
Now Cameron has been giving him the slide step. You'll see Cameron rub the inside of his leg. That's the slide step. I say Nick doesn't stop here.
Yeah, he was still kind of rocking a little bit, so that's why they say that he didn't take the beat. Rick Kranitz doesn't seem too happy about it.
I don't think he agrees with Nick Lentz.
Good breaking ball and another strikeout. That's 5 strikeouts for Pivetta. All 5 outs have come with the strikeout.
All on sliders.
Granny is always teaching in the dugout. I mean, he's always talking.
We were out the first day here on Monday for early hitting, and he and Bob McClure were down the left field line, and that is just another nasty slider. Obviously, they're not reading any spin right now, which is a good thing for Nick Pivetta. But you think about how long Bob McClure has been in the game, Rick Kranitz, and the conversation that they were having. I mean, it's just so detailed about pitching, and you think that after all these years they say, you know, just go out there and shag some balls. They're constantly talking it over and finding ways to make the staff better.
There's a curveball and it drops in 0-2. I think they're both also different in their styles, which I believe is good, because Bob likes debate. He likes other people's opinions.
I just think it's great after all these years, and you and I have that same passion for baseball. We just love the game, and these guys love the game. They love the art of pitching, and they love discussing it and trying to teach it.
Well, balls at 2 strikes to Hunter Renfroe. And he pops it foul out of play. It remains 0-2. Camera rep out to talk to Pivetta with a runner at second base. Mentioned the 2 strike counts for Pivetta, how good he is. The opposition in 0-2 counts is 1 for 40. so far. That's before today's ball game. They didn't get their first hit until their 29th at bat against him with 2 strikes.
They went out to discuss signs because Cameron didn't put a sign down.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball. 6 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Nick Pivetta, and the side is retired. This time he gets 3 swinging strikeouts. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left in scoring position, and he's got a pretty good roll going today. First 2 innings, all 6 outs have been strikeouts. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Ben, the question is, what 2 all-time records did Padre Ricky Henderson break in 2001?
Wow, thank you. Production cavity.
Well, you know that one?
I do.
You know both of them?
I do.
You know whose records they broke?
Yes.
Really?
I do. And he also got his, well.
Don't give anything away.
Okay. A great teammate.
Ricky?
Rick.
So we're going to miss 0-2 to Cameron Rupp as we begin the 3rd. If you saw him right now, would he know who you were?
Yes.
He would?
Yes. I don't know if he quite remember my name,
right,
but he would know who I was.
Do you think he'd call you Mark or Christopher? Out to right field. That's well hit. Going back on it is Renfroe, and it's over his head, and it's off the wall. And Cameron Rupp lumbering to second will stay there. And he's got a leadoff double. Boy, Renfroe went crashing into that wall. That's the 14th double of the year for Cameron Rupp.
It's a good sign there. Now, Cameron's been swinging through a lot of fastballs. And he gets an 0-2 count here and stays back and drills the ball to right field. You're right, Tom. He did go crashing into that wall. Well, maybe Cameron take a shot at third base there, but better be safe than sorry.
He's a little ways away from that baseball when he went into the wall. All right, so here's Pivetta hitting .094. Boy, he really brought the bat back late to take that swing. And it's 0-1. The Phillies have 12 sacrifice bunts as a staff, which is 15 less than the leader in Major League Baseball. That's the Miami Marlins. Certainly something they're going to work on, hopefully, in the offseason.
Hopefully is right.
According to what Pete was talking about. And now it's 0-2.
They just almost to a man, they just jab at it. And it's not like they don't work on it. But there's just, I mean, with Nick Pivetta right there, that's just poor technique.
One ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Well, a couple of things on that. Obviously, you want to get Rupp over to third, or any base runner over to third base with less than 2 outs, but you definitively want to get Cameron Rupp over to third. So then if there is a base hit, he can score easily. I mean, now he can't score easily on a base hit. It's runs for Radiothon. For every run the Phillies score during the month of August, the Phillies will make a contribution to the Help Our Kids Radiothon, benefiting the Nemours Alfred I. DuPont Hospital for Children. You can find out more at nemours.org/radiothon.
You know, baseball's a team sport. It really is. But if you're a pitcher up there and you're not getting a bunt down, you're really hurting yourself. And that's the way I would look at it. Man, I don't even hurting the team, but I'm hurting myself right now.
Hot shot to shortstop. And Coleman throws out Hernandez.
And as a starting pitcher, what is your job to do every 5th day? Put your team in the best position to win. Well, how can I do that? It's not just by throwing strikes and striking guys out. It's by advancing runners. That's all part of the game if you're going to be in the National League.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's not alone with this. I mean, we're not just saying it about him. It's the whole staff. I mean, it's very rare that the Phillies have a guy that can consistently get a bunt down. I mean, and who knows what the Padres would have done there. They probably would have played the infield back. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Freddie Galvis is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. And it's 0-1. I kind of think back to Roy Halladay after his first year with the Phillies. I mean, Doc was not very good at the plate. He really wasn't.
No.
But worked on it and was able to at least get the bunts down. Out to second base, and Richard is going to work out of this jam after a leadoff double by Cameron Rupp. The Phillies failed to get him over to third and then eventually home. So he's left at second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. We'll move to the bottom of the third here in San Diego. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Ford. Go to your local Ford stores to get updated on what's going on right now. And by McDonald's. Stop by McDonald's for an ice cold, delicious soft drink for only $1. I'm loving it. Bottom of the third in a scoreless game. Then Dusty Coleman will lead things off. Ben, is Coronado Island right across the way there?
Sure is.
That is the only hotel, the Dell, they call it, the Dell, that is on the beach, Coronado Island. Coleman takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Had a good workout with the Seals earlier this morning.
Yeah. You did look like you're perspiring when I saw you in the lobby. The actual Seals, like the animal?
Not the ones you saw yesterday.
1 ball and 1 strike.
How are your shoes doing anyway? A little bit better?
They have been sent back home. 1-1 to Coleman. Coleman hitting .273. And he fouls it off to the right. And it's 1-2.
Not going to make the second leg of this road trip, huh?
They are not making the second leg of the road trip. Outside, 2-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. 7 strikeouts for Nick Pivetta.
Think he was looking for a slider there?
I think he might have been. I was looking for a slider there.
Free and easy, good extension. Throw that one all day long.
Well, here's Clayton Richard. And Richard swings and says, I'm not going to strike out, but he fouls it away. But it's no balls and 1 strike. How about the first 7 outs of this game have all been on strikeouts? That is remarkable.
I love that last fastball, though.
Just
Coleman.
The placement of it?
The extension. He gets out past the baseball, so he's out in front. Take a look at the extension, out in front with his hand and down and past that left knee. That is throwing the ball through the mitt, not to the mitt.
0-2 pitch to Richard. And he does not bite.
It's taken all the way.
2 strikes.
Now watch the extension down and past his left kneecap. Right there. Bam. That's how you get some backspin through the mitt.
Wow. Just a bit outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nick Lentz is not jumping into the party today. Fouled away. Swing and a miss, and that is strikeout number 8 for Nick Pivetta. All the outs so far in 2 2/3 have been strikeouts. The only base runner was Will Myers, who walked. This is not something that you're going to see every day, folks. I mean, this is a pretty special beginning to a ball game for Nick Pivetta.
Really cool if he ended up with 27 today.
Margot fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1. Well, Margot, part of the group of rookies who have multiple home run games. Margot's done it 2 times. Obviously, Rhys Hoskins just did it. Bellinger has been a machine when it comes to that. 1 ball and 1 strike to Margot. Just below the knees, 2-1. We've seen some pretty special rookies so far this year, Murph.
We have, Tom, and you know the Padres very high on Margot, as they should be. The Phillies have done a nice job in this series against him so far, but he is a guy that they expect to be a big part of their future. Of course, he came over in the Craig Kimbrell trade from the Red Sox. He's a guy that has a lot of speed, and he's top of the lineup kind of guy, but has been very, very good, and surprisingly with some power in the second part of this season. In fact, over the last 21 games, about 7 home runs for him. And 21 games ago, he came off the paternity list. His first son was born, his son Diamond, and since then he's really kind of turned it on. He's been very, very hot for these guys. Andy Green calls it his daddy strength. He's been able to kind of draw off of being a brand new father, but he's a guy that we expect to see in the National League for a long time to come, guys.
Yeah, he's a pretty special player, and it's nice to see that they got some results from that trade, as we mentioned, for Craig Kimbrell. Well, finally an out that wasn't a strikeout. We'll go to the 4th here in San Diego. WB Mason and the Hahn Now program has you covered. Hahn Furniture provides beautiful options for every part of your office, and WB Mason provides it all at amazingly low prices. All in service means you don't have to lift a finger. Who but WB Mason? Rhys Hoskins leads it off here in the top of the 4th inning. Scoreless game. We've seen a display put on by Nick Pivetta, who has retired 9 hitters today, and 8 of those 9 have been with strikeouts. The major league record for consecutive strikeouts to start a game is 8. Jim DeShays and Jacob deGrom both have that record. Unfortunately for Nick, he walked a batter after striking out the first 4, but he has his first 8 outs today were strikeouts. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hoskins. Outside 2-1. Told Rhys today, I said, we have had some great shots of your family while you've been up at the plate, particularly when you've hit the home runs. And he just smiled. He said, yeah, wait until San Francisco, because Rhys is from Sacramento. As he grounds that one to third. He's from Sacramento, he said, so there's going to be a lot of folks that'll be there as that throw gets away from Myers. It was an errant throw by Solarte, and Hoskins will get to second base. So an E5, 4th error of the year for Solarte.
Throw just gets away from him. Flat-footed. He just airmails it.
Yeah, he just didn't field that cleanly the way his feet were.
Bad footwork. And I saw Austin Hedges drop his head as he saw Rhys making his way to second base, because he didn't back up the throw. Very rarely will that ball get away where you're actually going to be able to make a play on it as a catcher. But you still got to bust it down there all the time.
Tommy Joseph grounded out his first time up. So for the second straight inning, the Phils have the leadoff hitter aboard in scoring position. And Tommy Joseph grounds it to first. Hoskins is caught between second and third. Joseph is safe. He's going to second. Hoskins tries to stay alive and can't stay alive long enough. That's a nice play by Will Myers, realizing the ball is hit sharply. 3-5-6-5 is the sequence on the fielder's choice. We used to see Chase Utley do that quite often.
Tommy tries to do his job. This is just good scouting by the Padres. Will Myers in a perfect spot. The ball hit very sharply to the right side. Rhys Hoskins thinking it's got to get through, but it doesn't. He does all he can do to try and stay in that pickle as long as he can to allow Tommy to get to second base. It just doesn't happen.
So runner at first now with one man down. Bouncing ball foul. 0-2. Excuse me, 0-1. Phillies are already 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. 3 for 17 in the series.
It's one thing the Padres have done so well in the first couple games is that they've hit well with runners in scoring position, but they've taken advantage of the Phillies' mistakes.
Yeah, honestly, Ben, I think they've done that through the season series, because you think about the other games. The 2 wins by the Padres were 1-run victories. The Phillies win in Philadelphia was a 7-1 victory. But Andy Green's team has carried that over to even this series. I mean, think about yesterday and how they capitalized on the mistakes the Phillies made. And the day before. So we got a miss. Williams started to run, forgot that Tommy Joseph was over at first, but 2 outs. Live stream the Phils anywhere. Track Aaron Nola's latest start and Rhys Hoskins every at bat. Download the NBC Sports app right now and stay connected to the Phils, the Flyers, and the Sixers. 3 strikeouts for Richard. Maikel Franco swings at the first pitch, and Solarte will go to second, and that'll wrap up the 4th inning for the Phils. 5-4 on the putout. A fielder's choice. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Padres. 1 man left on base. Middle of the 4th in a scoreless game. Toyota, find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. Well, break time, Ben. Watch a little baseball. A lot of building going on around here. Downtown San Diego still.
Shame they don't have better weather to put these buildings up.
Got some modern apartments, Ben, that are opening in early 2018 if you're interested. Park in the Park has some folks rolling around. That's where the Tony Gwynn statue is. They were refurbishing the baseball field Some ballparks have just a wiffle ball field, and this one I guess is technically a wiffle ball field, but it's grass with dirt infield, and it's out beyond the Phillies and the Padres bullpen in left center field, and they were doing a lot of work on it yesterday. As Suaje lines a single into right center field, it may turn out to be a double because he's hustling all the way, and he's going to slide in safely. 10th double of the year for Suaje. Leadoff double here in the 4th inning.
Manager Andy Green, you got to love that. Out of your second baseman, hustling right out of the box. The expanse of this outfield, he makes it in there easily. See Suaje busting it right away, sinking 2. Good turn around first base. Nick Williams does all he can do. I do like the fact that Nick was the one who took that. He's got the strongest arm out there.
All right, so the Phillies were unable to capitalize on a leadoff man getting to second base the last 2 innings. Let's see if they can quiet the Padres here in the 4th inning. Pivetta certainly has strikeout stuff. He has 8 strikeouts already. First pitch is in there, and it's a strike. 0-1. So Solarte struck out swinging. Popped him up. Galvis and Franco over on the left side, and Freddie leaves it for Michael. And one away here in the 4th. Cubs are coming to town on Friday, August 25th. It's the start of a 3-game series. It wraps up on Sunday the 27th at 1:35. It's the ShopRite Back to School alarm clock, free to children 14 and under. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Here's Spangenberg. Spangenberg struck out his first time up as well, just like everybody else. And he takes on the outside corner. By the way, Michael Franco talking to him today. The wrist is fine, he said. He said it was a little sore after the game last night. He said thankfully he was wearing that Evo Shield padding. He said the funny thing is he hadn't worn it the previous 2 games. He said, you know, it's something that has become habitual ever since he broke his wrist. He said, but for the first 2 games of the series, he said, I don't know if I couldn't find it or if I just got rushed and didn't put it on. He said, but yesterday I decided to put it back on and really look for it. And he said, thank goodness I did. He said, because if he didn't, this is Michael talking. He said, if I didn't have it on, he said, I would have been out for the year. He said there's no doubt it would have been broken.
It was a hard fastball by Lamet. Right off that wrist.
He said it was the same exact spot where he broke his wrist in 2015. In the dirt, and it's 1-2.
About Jason Worth, he still wears that wrist guard. All those years ago and wrist problems that he had.
Well, think about how many at-bats it cost him when he was younger. And a strike 3 called, a breaking ball. Spangenberg didn't think so, but that's 9 strikeouts for Pivetta. And 2 away.
And he's being pretty efficient with it too. Just 56 pitches here through 3 2/3. Just a big old curveball there. Inside the box.
Well, his career high is 10. The rookie record for strikeouts by a Phillies pitcher is 13. A rookie pitcher. As Myers takes strike one. Dennis Bennett struck out 13 against the St. Louis Cardinals in 1962. And Jack Sanford struck out 13 against the Cubs in 1957. Swing and a miss, 0-2. I figure it's going to be a breaking ball here, right? He's gotten one guy on a well-located fastball looking.
Could climb the ladder as well here.
That one is way outside. What a play by Cameron.
He didn't even go to the backhand. He still kept the top of his mitt pointed down towards the dirt.
Look at Pivetta smiling.
This is incredible.
Got to have a little luck in this game, Ben.
Glove save and a beauty.
One ball and 2 strikes to Myers. Lays off. And now the 3-2 pitch, and fouled away to the right side. I'll tell you, if I ever bought tickets to a game at Petco Park and I wanted a baseball, I would sit right where that foul ball went. That has to be about 7 or 8 during this series that have gone up right near the press box. Make a mental note of that, Ben.
Okay.
3-2 pitch again. Line drive, base hit it to left field. Suarez around third. The Padres will take the lead. It's an RBI for Will Myers as they get the runner home from second base after the leadoff double.
It's a really, really good piece of hitting there by Will Myers.
It was a heck of a battle, too. I mean, it was the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
He was really late on the fastball at 96 right before that. And he goes down and gets this slider. Look out in front, keeps those hands back. Hooks it in the left field. The big 2-out knock there for the Padres.
Well, that RBI is his 59th of the season. So San Diego strikes first. And with a runner at first base, the hitter will be Austin Hedges. Runner goes, pitches outside, and Myers, an easy stolen base, his 12th of the year.
I know Cameron double clutched on this, but there's no reason to throw that ball. What a jump. It's an opportune time for him to run because Pivetta's probably upset he just gave up the run. I mean, he's just well on his way. Had to say something about that pitch count, didn't I, Tom?
A lot of jinxing going on in baseball, Ben.
Nick literally has not gotten one of those borderline pitches down all day.
Yeah, I think if there's an evaluation at the end of a game, I think if you're the home plate umpire, you'll look at this and say, I got to call that next time.
He hasn't gotten one, and that was clearly inside the box.
Foul ball, and it's 3-2.
If you're Cameron, just say to Nick Lentz, we have to have that pitch. This is where I want my pitcher living, and it's a strike. Can you please take a better look at it?
Runner goes from second, pitches way outside, ball 4. And that'll be a stolen base for Myers, his second one of the day. And it'll be the second walk issued by Pivetta. And the Padres now with first and third when 2 men down, and Hunter Renfroe is coming up. Pete Buchanan is coming out. Not Bob McClure, it's Pete. He's got a little stomp to him right now.
Yeah, this is for Nick Lentz, I'm pretty sure. Makes his way out.
Maybe not.
Apparently not.
Apparently it was for Nick Pivetta. Nothing wrong with the manager going out when he has something on his mind. Sometimes it's a little bit more powerful message. So now Renfroe is up, runners on first and third. And a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Renfroe was strikeout victim number 6 for Pivetta, his first time up. Runner goes from first. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second base. Now they've got him caught. Myers leads off the third base bag. Tommy Joseph's throw to the plate, not in time. It'll turn out to be a double steal, and it's 2-0 San Diego.
Will Myers with 3 stolen bases in this inning.
Yeah.
Tommy just gets caught off guard, off balance, I should say. Not off guard, but he had his momentum going towards the second base bag. It was hard for him to plant his feet and get anything really on that throw to Cameron Rupp. Pretty much executed to perfection. This double steal. What you want to do is get that guy running full steam. That's one thing Cesar was not able to do.
The last major leaguer to steal second, third, and home in the same inning was D. Gordon, the last National Leaguer back in 2011. Watch Myers. Right. He's off pretty good there. Right there he goes. Combination of excellent speed, and as Ben said, just not having enough behind the throw. Little dribbler left to the mound. Franco will pick it up. Throw not in time. Good try by Michael. It'll be an infield hit. That'll put runners on first and third with 2 outs.
Michael did all he could do.
And Dusty Coleman's coming up.
Nick just can't get there. Michael comes in, bare hands it. Was able to get a lot on that throw to first base.
Made it a lot closer. So going back to what Will Myers accomplished in this inning, there have been 50 instances of a player stealing second, third, and home during the same inning, and it's been done by 40 players before this. So this is the 51st. He's the 41st player to do it. Out towards center field, Nick Williams on the run, and he makes the catch going away. Now that wraps up this 4th inning, this eventful 4th inning. Pivetta gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 stolen bases by 1 guy. We'll go to the 5th.
In the top of the 5th, guys. The well-traveled Cam Perkins, I should say, back up with the team now that Daniel Nava is on the disabled list. But let's take a look at his travel plans over the last couple weeks, because he's been a busy guy. Of course, he was up with the team from June 20th till August 1st. And when the team was in L.A., Cameron was sent back down to AAA. So he traveled from Los Angeles to Chicago to Buffalo, because that's where the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs were. But then he was called back up a couple days later. Buffalo to Denver. He flew back. From Denver, he went with the Phils to Atlanta, then back to Philly. While in Philadelphia, sent back to the Iron Pigs. They went on a bus trip, guys, to Norfolk. He went on that trip. And then once again, the phone rings on 8:05, and he is, or 8:15, and he is called back to Los Angeles, well, back to San Diego. Traveled through Atlanta to San Diego. 8,606 total miles traveled by Cameron Perkins over the last couple of weeks. But I can tell you guys, in talking to him, he's just happy to be back in the big leagues.
Yeah, he said the easiest trip was, we were discussing it with him yesterday. He said the easiest trip was when he was called up originally to the Phillies. He said that was only from Pawtucket. He said that wasn't a big deal at all. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Perkins. He said unfortunately he doesn't get all the miles to be attached to his airline total. And he's down looking on strikes to start this 5th inning. That is the 4th strikeout for Clayton Richard. There's always that one player, though, that is the back and forth guy as far as the minor leagues to the major leagues go. You know, a lot of times it's a pitcher. A lot of times a pitcher will, zip up and down. And before they changed this rule that you had to be down for 10 days, it would happen even more often for young pitchers. But as Murph said, the guys will take it because they'd rather be in the big leagues than they'd be in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Cameron Rupp doubled his first time up, and he takes outside. It's 1-0.
A little bit better up here. Lifestyle.
Inside and low, 2-0.
Amazing to me as you watch a lot of these starting pitchers throughout the league. A lot of them have really adopted this form of pitching with the windup. I mean, you're basically in the stretch all the time. I mean, he has a little kickback with his right leg, but you can see he's all ready to go like he would be in the stretch. He'll take a quick jab step back with his right foot and then immediately go into that leg kick.
Just try to keep it simple, I guess. A bouncer to the right side. Waiting on it is Iswahe. 4-3 on the putout. 2 outs here in the 5th. Phillies are offering a fall ballpark pass for the month of September. What you get is 15 games for just $50. And it gives you access to every Phillies regular season home game in September for just $50. All tickets are delivered digitally via your mobile device. Go to Phillies.com to purchase today. Here is Pivetta, who struck out in his only at bat. One of 4 strikeouts today for the lefty Richard. 0-2. Richard's got himself a pretty good pace going. I mean, I don't even think the catcher was set when he started throwing that one. He has thrown a first pitch strike to 13 of the 18 hitters that he's faced. This must be a blind spot for that area. Outside, 2-2. The bouncer out to shortstop. Charging is Coleman. And Pivetta is retired easily, and it's a 1-2-3 5th inning for Clayton Richard. Well, he has found something here. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-0 Padres. Now for our Citizens Bank minor league report. Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phils. And yesterday, Ben Lively, 6 2/3 effective. Lehigh Valley did lose to Norfolk 2-0. Reading defeated Bowie 4-3. Giandito Trop, a walk-off RBI single. Clearwater lost to St. Lucie 5-4. And Lakewood defeated Kannapolis 2-1. Here the Phillies trail the Padres 2-0 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. And Richard fouls the first pitch off. He struck out, the 8th strikeout for Pivetta. By the way, speaking of the Blue Claws, Adam Hazley, we mentioned that he is up with the Blue Claws, the Phillies' #1 pick this year. So he is 1 for 3 in his one game. It's not been a bad first year. 296 overall with 13 extra base hits for Hazley in 41 games.
It's a good sign.
Clayton Richard pitcher looked like he was content to take all the way there with the count 0-2.
That's what he did his first at bat.
Fouls it over the third base side.
Nice grab.
Right place, right time for that gentleman. And a breaking ball at a strike 3 call. 10 strikeouts for Pivetta. That matches his career high. And what a way. Luke Bryan's Hunting, Fishing, and Love It Every Day tour will visit Citizens Bank Park on Friday, September 8th. Special guests include Brett Eldridge and Craig Campbell. You can purchase your tickets by going to Phillies.com/Luke Bryan. Should be a great weekend at Citizens Bank Park with the 2 concerts that are scheduled. Here is Margot, who is 0 for 2. And he lines a single into center field. That's his first hit of the afternoon. That'll bring Aswahe to the plate. If you feel the same way, I like this guy right here, Aswahe. I don't know what kind of major leaguer he will be for the long haul. Maybe that's one of those things that we don't see him every day. Maybe he has some blemishes that we don't see.
289, plays a very solid second base.
And he's quick.
Strong arm. Saw that on the relay throw in the outfield the other night.
Curveball waved at. It's 2-1.
I would say he's throwing that curveball and the slider equally as much. And you mentioned it, came into today's ball game throwing it just 13% of the time, but
I agree with you. I think it's overall the breaking pitch has been used more today than in previous starts. First time through the order, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Second time through, a couple strikeouts, but 3 hits and 2 runs. And a big curveball stays high, 3-1. So Arte on deck. He is hitless in 2 at-bats.
see Margot on the run here. Full count, 1 out.
He goes. Swing and a miss. The throw to second base is off the glove of Freddie Galvis. The 11 strikeouts for Nick Pivetta. And a stolen base for Margot, his 12th of the year.
Freddie can hold on to this. He's definitely going to be out. Seemed to be a little tardy getting to the second base bag.
Well, for Pivetta, those 11 strikeouts are a career high. He joins a long list of Phillies rookies with 11 strikeouts in a game. Randy Wolf, Jack Sanford, Cole Hamels, Dennis Bennett, who did it in '62 twice, Hamels was the last one to do it in 2006 against the Astros. That day, Hamels went 7 2/3, allowed 3 hits and 2 runs. Runner goes to third, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Five stolen bases they've had today. Margot is making a bid for the 6th.
Fastball, and it's 1-2. 95 on that pitch to Solarte. Ground ball right side. Should do it for the 5th inning. Cesar's up with it. Pivetta gets out of this 5th inning, picks up a couple more strikeouts, leaves one in scoring position. That was the first ground ball out of the afternoon for Nick Pivetta. So we played 5. We'll go to the 6th. Phillies in search of some offense when we come back. Has turned things around since the last day of May and is doing so in enormous fashion. Over the last 2+ months, Odubel Herrera has batted well over 300, and 45% of those hits have gone for extra bases. He leads the team in hits and has already established career-high marks in doubles and extra base hits with over a month and a half of the season to go. He does it with a flair, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, no Odubel Herrera today. The Phillies hope he'll be around for tomorrow's game against the Giants because of that hamstring injury. Cesar bunts toward the third base side. Solarte quickly picks it up on the bare hand and throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 6th inning. Not a bad idea. You just got a third baseman who made an excellent play on a bunt by Cesar.
Solarte was in. I think if that ball's a little bit more towards the line, Cesar beats it out. Comes in, bare hands it. And why not? The Phillies haven't really been able to do anything against Clayton Richard today. Cesar just trying to get something started.
Galvis stands in and he takes a pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Galvis is 0 for 2. Inside, 2-0. That's a ground ball inside the third base bag down the left field line. Freddie will get at least 2 out of this one as he pulls into second base. Spangenberg gets it in with his 24th double of the year.
Exactly what you want when you have a 2-0 count. One of my keys of the game: be more aggressive on fastballs and fastball counts.
All right, now one of the issues the Phillies have had in this series is upon us. 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 0 for their last 11. Hoskins takes low and in. 1 ball, no strikes. At the knees. Maybe he's changing his view. Hoskins hits it the opposite way, but it's right at Renfroe, and he makes the catch for the second out. 2
Balls
outs.
hit hard.
Tommy Joseph coming up. Yep. Time for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. The Phillies have 58 home runs this year by players 25 or younger. The Dodgers and the Cubs are the only 2 that are ahead of them. But Hoskins has 3 of those home runs. Here's Tommy Joseph. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 next March. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Clayton Richard has given up the most hits this year of any pitcher in baseball. 188 coming into today. That's 2 more than Rick Porcello. He's given up the 2nd most earned runs. Batting average against is the highest of anybody in baseball. But today he has thrown 5 2/3 scoreless innings.
Tommy can get a fastball up out over the plate here and drive it. 3-1 count.
Outside, ball 4. And that is walk number 1 issued by Richard. So the Phils have runners on first and second for Nick Williams.
It's just 2-0, but it feels like it's more than that because the Phillies haven't squared up a whole lot of balls today.
Very true.
I mean, 2-0. Nick goes up top here. Phillies are winning.
Right. Breaking ball, and it's 0-1. But you're right. I mean, the at bats. The Phillies have managed 3 hits. They have 2 doubles among those 3 hits. The hardest hit ball was the Cameron Rupp ball.
Flow of this game, it just seems, look up that scoreboard, it just says 2-0.
Williams lays off, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick with 24 RBIs so far this season. He's among the league leaders in RBIs since the All-Star break. That one is spun foul over the third base side. And it's 1-2. Has a decent on-base percentage too. It's been up over 350 for most of his time up here in the big leagues. And because of all his extra base hits, his OPS is just a hair under 900. It's been a nice start for him to his big league career.
Richard today. Nick seems to be spread out a little bit more, a little more open with that stance.
He lays off 3-2. I think he popped one into the gap. Maybe the Phils can score both of these runs, as they'll be off and running on this pitch.
He pops one over that Toyota sign and right.
It's not a bad idea either. Runners go, and the pitch is fouled at home plate. Got a piece of Hedges.
Back heel there.
Runners go again. Swung on and missed. He went after a breaking ball out of the strike zone. Well, the Phillies leave a couple more. Galvis at second base, Joseph at first base. 0 for their last 13 now, with runners in scoring position. It's a little different turning point today. It's along the base pass. First it begins though with Will Myers singling home a run, and then he just took off from there.
A 2-out big knock there for the Padres. He takes second, he takes third, and then, well, he takes home. All that happened with 2 outs. Will Myers is running rampant. Is your Toyota turning point.
Part of the reason why the Padres lead at 2-0. Spangenberg bunts on the first pitch to Pivetta. And Pivetta unable to get it there in time. That'll be an infield hit.
Nick Green was right. He can beat you a lot of different ways. Spangenberg with a couple strikeouts. He says, I'm not going to get a knock swinging it. Let's see if I can lay down a bunt. Well executed.
So Spangenberg extends his hitting streak to 8 consecutive games, and now Will Myers is up. And I guess you have to keep an eye on what he's going to do over first base, just because he can run so well. Myers squares and he bunts at it, and then pulls it back. 1 ball and no strikes. side off the glove of Rupp, and that'll enable the runner to go up to second base. Spangenberg's now in scoring position.
Looked like Cameron was anticipating this ball to hit Will Myers, and he's kind of gator arms it here to his left side.
Well, that's a pretty good run on it.
It did.
It is a pass ball against Cameron Rupp. So Myers with the runner in scoring position, 1 for 1 with a walk today and a run scored. And he takes a strike, 2-1, and 3 stolen bases. Honus Wagner and Ty Cobb have stolen 3 bases. First, second, third, and home in the same inning as Ramos warms up 4 times. Outside, 3-1. High, ball 4. 2 on, nobody out here in the 6th inning. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your local Chevrolet dealers. By Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEF now or visit jeffersonhealth.org. And by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Here comes Pete Buchanan, and I guess that's going to be it for Nick Pivetta. Pete signals just as he crosses the third base line. So Pivetta is done after 96 pitches. So he leaves with 11 strikeouts. The first Phillies rookie to strike out 11 in a game since Cole Hamels. So pitching change here at Petco Park. Phillies trail at 2-0. Runners on first and second. We'll be back. What 2 all-time records did Padre great Ricky Henderson break in 2001?
Well, not only did he get his 3,000th hit that season, but he also broke the all-time runs scored,
right,
and walks records.
Who held those?
Babe Ruth.
And?
I thought there was both Babe Ruth.
No. So you put it out on the shelf. You thought you had it. You didn't do any more thinking after that.
Wasn't the part of the question.
It wasn't, but I want you to give everybody a little history lesson.
Babe Ruth and runs scored.
We've already mentioned his name today.
Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb. Log back on thephillies.com to find out if you're a winner of a Phillies prize pack. All right, so Edubray Ramos will take over here in the 6th inning with runners on 1st and 2nd. Pivetta leaves after going 5+, allowing 5 hits, walking 3, striking out 11. And a first pitch breaking ball is in there. It's 0-1. 5.14 earned run average. I thought Pete might let Pivetta finish this off if he could. At least face one more batter. He was shy of 100 pitches. Ground ball to shortstop. That might be 2. There's 1 and 2.
I would have pulled him out to get induced a double play.
6-4-3 double play.
Well, if you're Nick Pivetta, you want to stay in because A, you like to, do battle.
Yeah.
And B, because they're his runners out there.
Well, this is our State Farm double play as Ramos gets the 6-4-3 double play.
Freddie DeCesar on the time. It's pretty automatic. There's your State Farm double play.
State Farm here to help life go right as that foul ball goes just under us. And it's 0-1. Two. And a line drive down the left field line, fair. Going to the corner, Runnel scores. Spangenberg crosses the plate. And Renfroe is into second with his 24th double of the year. And it's his 2nd base hit of the night.
Is it a pitch down? Yes. But when everyone in the ballpark knows you're going to throw that pitch again. Renfroe sitting on it, gets it. If you're going to throw it, well, you're going to have to bounce it. That pitch just way too good with 0-2 count. Renfroe looking for it. Pitch is elevated enough we can hit it down the left field line.
Mr. Coleman fouls it off to the right, and it's 0-1. So 3 runs charged to the line of Nick Pivetta in 5+ innings, 11 strikeouts. Breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
It was a very impressive outing today by Nick.
Yeah,
made the adjustments that he needed to make.
I think with 2 outs, the Will Myers situation kind of got to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Fastball inside, 1-2. Swing and a miss, and the inning comes to a close. So a strikeout for Ramos. A run does score for the Padres, so they add an insurance run. We'll move to the 7th inning. The Phils trail at 3-0 to San Diego. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. The Phillies trail at 3-0 over their last 13 with runners in scoring position. And 3 for 19 overall in the series. Nick Pivetta struck out 11 in today's game. But as we begin the 7th inning, Clayton Richard has just been a little bit better. Pitching to contact, he gets one out on one pitch to Maikel Franco. And Cameron Perkins will be the batter. 19 pitches his last inning is the high water mark, but for the most part, he's been in total control. Perkins takes a little low, 1 ball and no strikes. Balls and no strikes. Perkins is 0 for 2. He's grounded into a fielder's choice and is struck out looking. They take strike 1. Little flare out to center field, and it's caught by Margot for the second out. 2 away. Tomorrow night at 6, Derek Gunn and Reuben Frank are live from Lincoln Financial Field with all the latest as the Eagles gear up for their first home preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. Don't miss Quick Slants tomorrow night at 6 here on CSN. Here's Cameron Rupp. So far, it's been pretty quick, these first 2 outs. Maikel Franco, well, he's been in swing mode today. He grounded out on the first pitch. Perkins took a couple, then flied out. Now Rupp is down to the count 0-1.
A lot of first pitch swinging. Richard's predominantly doing it with the fastball.
Clayton Richards this year has allowed 1 earned run or fewer in 6 outings. The rest of his outings have pretty much been 3 earned runs or more. A lot of 6 and 7s. But today, he is working on a shutout with 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
A 3-hit shutout.
Yeah. Mentioned the batting average against coming in. The opposition hitting .323 against him. That's the highest in all of baseball. Put that in perspective. The leader in batting average against for the lowest is Max Scherzer. Opposition hitting .171 against him. So Solarte takes care of the first hitter and the third hitter in this inning. And it's a 1-2-3 7th. It's a 10-pitch 7th inning for Clayton Richard. Time to stretch here in San Diego. Frank Dollar Dog Night of the season when they take on the Miami Marlins. That's a 7:05 first pitch. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Well, here in Southern California, the Padres lead the Phils 3-0. The other Southern California team in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Phillies have already seen them here in L.A. I was looking at some of the numbers today. The Dodgers have won 8 of 10. They've won 3 straight. They're up by 18.5 games against Arizona, 31.5 over San Diego, 37.5 over San Francisco. They are now 50 games over 500.
Just incredible.
Los Angeles Dodgers. First time a team has been this far over 500 since the 2004 Cardinals. They're on pace to win 117 games. Now, they may not do that. They may finally hit a speed bump, which means that the Mariners and the Cubs of 06 are safe. As Clayton Richard leads off the bottom of the 7th and fouls it off to the right side. But it's the first Dodger team to be 50 games. 50 games over 500 since 1953. Dodgers franchise has done it 4 times. I mean, from a baseball standpoint, we saw them earlier this year, and I think we all thought they were good. I don't think anybody thought that they were this good.
No, and I didn't think the offense would be sustained, but they keep swinging it and swinging it.
Ground ball softly to second. 4-3 on the putout, and 1 away here in the 7th inning. More on the Dodgers and T-Mobile. Here's Greg Murphy.
Yeah, it's your unlimited baseball break presented by T-Mobile, and the Dodger fans are going to get their first up close and personal look at their newest weapon tonight as they take on the Chicago White Sox at Dodger Stadium. Yu Darvish will be the starting pitcher. He'll make his 3rd start for the Dodgers. 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA so far in his 2 starts. 10+ strikeouts as well in those starts, and as you mentioned, 50 games over 500 are the Dodgers right now. The streak in Miami, well, that has ended. Giancarlo Stanton's home run streak has ended at 6 games. Doesn't mean Miami didn't go off and win today. They won 8-1 over the San Francisco Giants. But 44 on the season for Giancarlo Stanton. Just 2 shy of that record of 8 straight games with a home run was Giancarlo. But you know what? He still had 2 hits today, 2 for 4, and hit by a pitch in that game against the Giants, guys.
And his productivity certainly has climbed during this stretch. Tommy Joseph was trying to climb into the dugout, the Padres dugout, on that foul ball. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Manuel Margot. Turned out to be must-see television every time that Giancarlo got to the plate over the last couple of days. Probably a little good-natured ribbing from Don Mattingly, saying, yep, that record I share with Ken Griffey Jr., that's going to stand for a little bit. Check swing. No swing, says Jim Wolf. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball, 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, Adam Morgan's going to come on, so if the Phillies get a 1-2-3 inning here, it's going to have to be Morgan that helps Ramos through it. So we get a pitching change here at Petco Park. In fact, he's going to have a double switch as Andres Blanco is going to check into the game and looks like he's going to play 3rd base. We'll be back to Petco right after this. That's a 135 first pitch. It's the ShopRite Back to School alarm clock. Give it out to kids 14 and under. You can get tickets by going to Phillies.com. There's that giveaway. We've seen them. They look great. It is an outstanding giveaway for the youngsters. All right, so pitching change here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Adam Morgan will take over for Ramos, who did a nice job. He did allow one inherited runner to score. And now Morgan, a 5.35 earned run average. So as Wahe is up, and the first pitch a breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
A good slider there by Adam.
Andres Blanco at third base. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, and Azwahe is done here in the 7th inning. So Morgan gets a strikeout here in the 7th. Nothing across for the Padres. Now to the 8th inning, the Phillies trail at 3-0. Brought to you by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Heard of your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for fast, free delivery? Nobody does it better. Padres are on top 3-0. And now as we begin the top of the 8th inning, Andres Blanco will stand in against Clayton Richard. Richard is having himself a day.
Just need to get some guys on here. It still is only 3-0.
Whitey hitting 165 so far this season. One ball and 1 strike. Last time Richard went 8 innings was on the 24th of July against the Mets. But in that game, he allowed 12 hits and 5 earned runs. Wound up losing the game 5-3. Blanco lines it down the right field line, foul. And it's 1-2. Hasn't won since the 13th of June. Padres have won twice during that stretch. Kirby Yates loosening in the bullpen. pop-up on the infield. And Solarte, the third baseman, is there for the first out. Well, time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game. Speaking of Solarte, over third.
Yeah, good play here off the bunt of Cesar Hernandez. Switch that bunt a little more towards the line, but he comes in barehanded, fires a strike on over to Will Myers. Solarte very excited. That is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Played short the first couple of games of this series. Cesar hits the first pitch out to shortstop, and they're 2 away. And with 2 outs, Freddie Galvis will be the hitter. Galvis is 1 for 3 in this ball game. He has struck out, grounded out, and has doubled. Freddie's double is 24th of the year. Think about what Richard has this year against right-hander. Right-handers were hitting .322 against him, and lefties were hitting .324. But he's handled everybody today. One's pulled foul past Samuel. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nick Williams, the only lefty in the lineup. Nick with 1 of the 3 hits off, although it's an infield chopper off the plate.
Another one pulled foul, and it remains 3-2. Ground ball out toward the middle. To his left is Coleman. He sweeps in, throws out Galvis, and the Phillies go down in order. That is 7 in a row retired by Richard. He's only allowed 1 hit over the last 3 innings. 8 scoreless for the left-hander. Got food and beverage beer finder on the ballpark app. Select what you're looking for, and the section that you're sitting in, and the app will tell you the nearest concession stand to you. Check in during your visit at Citizens Bank Park every single time. It's the official Citizens Bank Ballpark app for your iPhone, Android smartphone that perfectly complements and personalizes your trip to the ballpark. Adam Morgan will begin the bottom of the 8th inning, and Solarte takes a little low. So this is the combined numbers for Richard this year against the Phils. 1 earned run in 14 innings against them, 7 strikeouts. He's got enough in the tank to finish this game. I don't know if they'll let him, but he definitely has enough in the tank to do it.
If you're Andy Green, I don't know why you would not send him back out.
Ground ball over to third. That'll go foul. And it's 2-1.
Not like any of the innings have been really stressful for him.
He had the 119 pitch inning, but that was it.
He's thrown a lot of fastballs today, predominantly fastballs, but again, not a whole lot of stress out there. Richard does go out and complete the shutout, it will be his first one since August the 8th, 2012.
Check swing, ground ball softly to second. Solarte is barely getting up the line, so easy play for Cesar Hernandez. And 1 away. Spangenberg will be the batter. The bunt hit his last time up. Spangenberg takes that curveball and hits it foul, and it's 0-1. Closer for the Padres is Brad Hand. He is just standing guard of the bullpen as we speak. If anybody was going to come in, they probably would have been up by now. The only one that was throwing was Kirby Yates, so maybe with 2 outs he might pop up. 1-2.
I think Yates was just getting loose in case someone had gotten on for Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah. Try to check. He went around. There's out number 2. Second strikeout for Adam Morgan. Will Myers is coming up. He provides us with our WB Mason deliveries of the game. Back in the 4th inning, it was all him.
Will Myers looking like Ricky Henderson in today's ball game. He plates the first run of the ball game with a 2-out RBI single. Steals second, steals third, and steals home in the same inning. It all for the Padres today. They're your WB Mason deliveries of the game.
All right, so peeking out in the bullpen, nobody is up for the Padres. So Richard, who has been one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year, is going to go out in the 9th inning with a 3-0 lead at least. And he's going to try for, as Ben said, his first complete game in 5 years. 1 ball and no strikes to Will Myers. A couple of walks today, a single, runs scored, 3 stolen bases. Down the right field line and out of play. Wow, that ball traveled a pretty good distance.
It did.
First major leaguer to have 3 stolen bases in 1 inning since D. Gordon back in 2011. One ball and 2 strikes. He went around on that cutter.
Spot you're talking about, the foul ball?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
He's a section over, but that general vicinity. One and 2 to Myers. And he lines it out toward right field. On the run is Perkins. He can't get it. And Myers will get to second base with a double. Not the best of routes for Cam Perkins. 20th double of the year for Will Myers.
Ball just took off.
It did. It was kind of like the ball last night to Rhys Hoskins that flew over his head.
It struck well. Myers has very, very good opposite field power. You just saw that with the home run he hit down the right field line foul.
Here's Austin Hedges, who has struck out, walked, and grounded into a double play. Miss 0-1.
Change up there by Adam.
Richards is pacing like an expectant father. He wants to get back out there, keep that adrenaline going. Swing and a miss, and that wraps up the bottom of the 8th inning. All right, so the Phils have one more shot, down 3-0 in today's game. As we come back for the top of the 9th inning, Rhys Hoskins will get an opportunity to start things off against Clayton Richard and see if the Phils can muster an offense when we come back.
Diego. Phil's looking for some late offense as they trail the Padres 3-0. When this game is over, it's off to California. We'll stay in California, up to San Francisco for a 4-game series with the Giants. Aaron Nola and Jeff Samardzija tomorrow. That game at 10 o'clock Eastern. On Friday, Zach Eflin and Matt Moore will take the baseball. On Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Jared Eichhoff and the lefty Ty Block. And then on Sunday, getaway day, Mark Leiter Jr., Madison Bumgarner for the Phillies and the Giants. But guys, this one's not over yet.
Well, Murph, I hope it's not. I hope it's going to go a little longer than what we've watched today. Matt Caesar, Villanova's own, out in left field as Clayton Richard begins the 9th inning, trying to pick up his first complete game since 2012. As Hoskins takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Brad Hand is loosening in the bullpen. I'm sure that's just in case somebody gets on. Just 102 pitches for Clayton Richard. Two and one. Mentioned the Hoskins. We're going to go to San Francisco. He grew up in Sacramento. Said his high school coach, his college coach, they all should be there this weekend for the 4-game series. He said he's probably going to have to leave around 30 tickets. He said, but then everybody else is going to have to kind of fend for themselves.
Yeah, that's not the best ballpark to have to leave a lot of tickets at.
There's the Hoskins group that has been here to watch him. I said they were very entertaining the whole week, and he laughed. He said, yeah, it sounded like they were. It's most of his girlfriend's family that are here now. Dad had to go back to work, and his late mom's family also that are here. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hoskins. I said, your dad will be in San Francisco. He goes, oh no, he'll be in San Francisco. Bouncer left side. Charging is Coleman, and 1 away here in the 9th inning.
Nice play.
He's pretty smooth over at shortstop.
He sure is.
After the ballgame, Michael Barkan is standing by, along with Tommy Green and Corey Seidman for Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. They've got a lot to talk about, really, this Phillies offense and the lack of it. Clayton Richard, what he's done. Pavetta's 11 strikeouts. Will Myers' eventful inning, the 4th inning, where he had a base hit and an RBI and also stole 3 bases. The first major leaguer to do that in an inning since 2011. No balls and 1 strike. Will Myers has had a good day. 2 hits, a single RBI and a double his last time up. Tommy Joseph pops it foul. It's 0-2. Speaking of Rhys Hoskins, our games we're on the air at 10 o'clock tomorrow on CSN. First pitch is at 10:15, which gives us a little time to chat with some players, including Rhys tomorrow. Murph's going to sit down with him. 2 outs. Aaron Nola will get the baseball tomorrow, as Murph just mentioned. We'll have to stop another losing streak. 6 strikeouts today for Richard, who we mentioned was atop a lot of negative categories coming into this ball game. He still might be. Hits allowed today, he's only allowed 3. First pitch will have to be delayed. It looks like a youngster came onto the field.
Poor life decision.
Kid can't be more than 13 years old.
It's amazing.
I've never seen anybody that young.
I'm with you.
Come running onto the field. It probably the reason he only got 10 feet. So Williams is up. He's 1 for 3. First pitch is in there. It's 0-1. 21,564. They realize the struggles that Richard has had. They've lived with it this entire year. They're on their feet. 0-2. 2 quick strikes. Richard takes a big breath. He hasn't won since the 13th of June. Since that time, the Padres have only won 2 of his games. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's in the wind, and now the 1-2 pitch to Williams. And a bouncer right side. Charging is Wahe. Bare hands, throws in time to get Nick Williams. That is a heck of a play to wrap up what has been a very productive series for the Padres. And on the flip side, a very negative series for the Phils. It culminates this afternoon. They were shut out by Clayton Richard, who hadn't won since the 13th of June. He retires the last 10 batters that he faces, and he shuts the Phils out as the Padres win it 3-0. Richard is our Chevrolet player of the game, and this is what his day looked like. I mean, he was unlike Nick Pivetta. He pitched to contact, Ben, for most of the day.
He sure did, and predominantly with that fastball. In, out, up, down, mixing a few sliders there to Nick Williams. Gets Cameron Perkins